J-O-D-I.
G-O-D-I.
That was me.
They've got different events going on.
And I found her to be a very highly organized individual that gets things done. And it's nice to meet Aaron. I was just thinking while he was talking, if there was a job that I would like to have in this stage of my life, it would be his. And it would be, and I don't want to take your job, but one like it. Yeah, something like that. I was trying to think while I was sitting there of a title to what I'm going to visit with you about. One might be from the gridiron to gardening, or from field goals to marigolds, or maybe digging in the dirt with the dog. That might be. So there's any number, and I guess one that always comes to me is, what in the world am I doing here? And by that I mean, what is a former football coach, athletic director, who spent his entire career focused on being a football coach and being an athletic director? Because if you're not totally focused, you may not be a coach very long, or an athletic director very long. Standing here talking about gardening. Well, the great reward of living around the university is that if you've got a curiosity in anything, you can satisfy it, because there is an expert on everything. And I have always enjoyed sitting in on courses and auditing courses, even when I was coaching. I took courses on military history or leadership, or something that would stimulate my mind as I got ready for the next campaign. I enjoy history, so I took a lot of history courses. I enjoy the Civil War, taking Civil War courses. We used to travel a lot, and we'd go to museums, and I'd see all these artwork that I didn't know anything about, so I came back and took a course. Then go into it all. And incidentally, auditing courses is a great way to go to school, because what you do, you sit in, you listen to the lectures, you take notes, you enjoy it, and then when the exam comes, you get up and wish all the students good luck, and leave. And then you come back and see them the next day. You don't have to worry about a thing. So I have really thoroughly enjoyed it. In taking these trips with Dooley, I'll give you an example of, like, what in the world am I doing here? I think it was the Green Industry show, the annual show of the Green Industry, and I bumped into Dr. Durr, and he says, hey, why don't you come go with us? And I said, go where? He said, come on, we're going to Ghent, Belgium, and we're going to an international hydrangea conference. Well, I was thinking he was talking about 6 months, next year, whatever. And I said, well, when are you leaving? He said, tomorrow. I said, tomorrow? Of course, I just dismissed it, but I went home and told my wife. And my wife used to complain all the time that when I was working, I would travel. I was always away from home. Well, within 2 hours, she got on the internet and had me a flight to Ghent, Belgium with Dr. Durr, and had me booked in a room where there was no rooms over there. I kind of got the feeling that she wanted to get rid of me in a hurry. So there I went to this international hydrangea. Now, the second thing is I've gotten to know nursery people around the country, particularly the Southeast, primarily through Durr and Armitage. And each one of these nursery people, they have their own little stock over here because they also enjoy introducing something and getting a patent. Well, they don't like to share that with some of their competitors, but they know that I'm not in it for profit. I'm in it for pleasure, so they don't mind sharing it with me. So I get from them a good variety of plants. So I do have a lot of distinctive plants and a lot of new introductions, some of which are not even on the market yet. So that way, I've got a pretty broad cross-section of plants. Now, what do I like? I like whatever's blooming, whenever they're doing their thing, I love that. But I love Japanese maples. I've got an endless variety of them because there's an endless variety of Japanese maples, form, shape, and color. I like camellias. That is the ugliest looking thing that I've ever seen. But that's the collection. Isn't that horrible? You can pass that around. So what we've got up there is on the far left, endless summer. On the far right, blushing bride. And in the middle, I'd rather call it endless, I'd rather call it lady. Always a lady, but it's twist and shout. That's been the fun of it. So with that, I guess, without going any more into the garden, I'll take you on a quick trip around my garden. I do want to I mentioned Japanese maples. As you come down my driveway, there's a creek that runs out in front of the driveway. And that bridge that you see right here fords that creek. There are two Japanese bridges. And I call that creek Weeper's Creek because all of the plants that I have there are weeping plants. And when I was coaching, I used to go out after we got beat at night and I'd weep with the weepers. So this is weepers. You've got knockout roses in the back, and I noticed out front that knockout roses are 6 feet tall. I guess I don't know how tall those things get if you don't prune them.
Yeah, about that tall, 6 feet.
About 6 feet, yeah. I usually put them in the back. I didn't know they'd be quite that tall. So that's, to the right up there's a Prunus mume. I just want to mention that. Doesn't have a good shot of it. But a flowering apricot, and this is a good example of a garden for all seasons because the flowering apricot, a Prunus mume, will bloom in late January or early February, and there's a good variety of them. This particular one is called Dawn, which is a pink double, but they've got some others. They've got a light pink weeper, W.D. Clark, I believe it is. There's also a white forms, and I love the flowering apricots, and that's the one on the right.